Welcome to another In the Park with Bark. It's me. It's Bark coming back at you. First, I want to clarify one thing. I wasn't like on the last episode. I definitely was not trying to say that other people are sexually inferior. Not what I'm saying at all. Just kind of pointing out the fact that there's so much you should be unselfish about. That's all. We'll move forward. Some people, of course, on YouTube, somebody is going to take things the wrong way. Always, every time, never fails, always happens. But let's get on with In the Park with Bark, episode 2. This is something I've talked about at length many, many times on podcasts, guests on podcasts, with guests, I should say. And this one is, it's basic. Topic number 1 is I have watched so many people, friends, family, others, fall victim to, I don't want to say ruining their life, but making their life a lot harder than it should be over family. And I think there's this social misconception, kind of like the social misconception of organized religion. You know, you go to church, you're automatically a good person, and you can go do heinous acts Monday through Saturday, and then on Sunday you go to church, repent, and you're good to fucking go. I think there's a social misconception as well about family. Like, everybody thinks like, well, they're family, I have to. Or, well, they're family, well, they're family, well, they're family. I disagree with that in just the most wholehearted way. Because at the end of the day, people are people, whether they're family or not. If you really want to think about it, and I know this is, harsh, but your family is your family, not by choice. And there's a lot of gray area here, but if you have a family of toxic people, why wouldn't you want to break that mold, break that just apart? Like, why would you want to stay in a toxic family? And something I've witnessed here lately is some family of mine are falling apart at the seams. Mostly, due to alcohol, but they're falling apart at the seams because no one will break the cycle. Like, they've got this unspoken, social construct that they live by that says they stick together because they're family, but most of them have not led a good life and have not had a good life. I'm not saying they're terrible people. I'm saying they have not enjoyed life. One person in particular I can think of has been taking care of the whole family, has been the crutch of the whole family, and has not gotten to live a life of meaning at all. And I'll dive a little further into that rabbit hole. I'll go strictly in on myself on this. I don't have family in the traditional sense. I have I don't dislike or hate these people, just to be clear. But my father is in a completely different state. Never really felt much of a connection with him. Like, he tried, and I'll give credit where credit is due. Like, he moved out of state when I was really young. Affected me, of course. But I didn't see him that often. And when I did see him, I didn't really see him. Like, he's always watching TV or playing his guitar, listening to music. And I just never felt that he wanted to be a father, I guess you could say. Mother, kind of similar, raised with my mother, but don't have any, this is a telltale sign, I think. If you don't have any great memories. Now, I listened to my wife talk about some of the memories of her and her parents and her family, and I don't have those. I don't have those same style of memories. I don't have vacation memories. I don't have memories of sitting with my mother reading books. I don't have memories of, honestly, the best memories I have parental outfit-wise is my stepdad would take me to shoot basketball at the YMCA. He did a good job. My stepdad did a really good job, because being a step parent is not an easy thing. I was never officially a step parent, but I dated a girl for 5 years that had kids, and I was basically a step parent. We all lived in the same house. Not an easy thing, you know? Like a lot of people try to say, you just make them your own and this and that. And yeah, of course you try, but it's not just easy. You know, it's not easy. So kudos to my stepdad for creating the memories that I have. My best parental memories are, honest to God, with my stepdad. And that's odd, you know? Like, I just don't have any memories with my mom, and I don't really have any memories with my dad that are worthwhile, or that are worth, you know, that have substance, that are concrete memories. Like, I have to really search to find that stuff. And that's fine. This isn't a woe is me video or anything like that. Like, yeah, I've had my problems with having absent parents. That's kind of what I call my parents absent. Not, again, you know, I did not have a terrible upbringing. My parents weren't abusive. My parents weren't, not even verbally, you know. My mom's a very nice person. She's just not very motherly, you know. She was, she did what she could and kept me safe, kind of, but at the same time, like, you know, I was one of those kids that was gone from morning till night, and very rarely did anyone come looking for me or anything like that, which was cool because I had a hell of a childhood, good times, and I didn't get in a lot of trouble. And, you know, compared to a lot, I had a fine upbringing. You know, it was fine. I just lacked the attention and love. And when you hear about, you know, the cliche, he or she wasn't hugged enough as a child, I would put me in that category. Didn't really feel the love. Or maybe it's my fault because I was more in touch with my feelings, more loving, more empathetic, more affectionate than my parents. So maybe it's just a difference in, you know, people. But that circles right back around to what I'm trying to talk about, is just because they're family does not mean you're their, you know, you guys are each other's people. And I won't lie, I haven't talked to either of my parents in years. There's reasons, no blow-ups, nothing like that. Just little things. Like I very much got the idea. My dad, well, for example, my dad made the comment once, like I gave it one last shot. Like, he never really knew my first kid, who's 21, and he never really made the effort for me or them. And I take offense to that, I guess. But I drove to North Carolina, I believe it was North Carolina, and went to, took my wife and my two young kids who he had not met, mostly. He might have met them once, but I'm burping, not crying, I swear. Seriously, I'm very good from all this. But like, he made the comment when we were leaving, which we left early because we weren't having a good time, and he was prioritizing his dogs over my kids. So it was kind of like, yeah, you know, not a mean guy, not a bad guy, just not the right guy, you know, to be in my life with my kids. My kids are very attached. They love hard. And I don't want to explain to them later why their grandpa didn't love hard and why their grandma didn't love hard. Don't even know him. She doesn't know him either, my mom. And I don't want to explain that, you know, like, my kids latch on. But when we were leaving, you know, my dad was talking about working in North Carolina, and he literally said the sentence, like, I think maybe my wife said something about Ohio or something, and he literally said, "There's nothing for me in Ohio." And I'm like, shit, man, there's me, there's my wife, there's three grandkids, you know, with my 21-year-old. Like, you know, you're hitting 60 at this time. Nothing in Ohio for you. It just kind of stuck with me, you know, as kind of a, you know, that was the moment where I was like, okay, I'm going to let him have what he wants, which is not this, not the parenting. And it wasn't spiteful. It was just like the final straw, kind of like, this is, he clearly doesn't have a lot of interest in being a grandparent or still a parent to me. And that is fine, because again, there's nothing malicious here. Sometimes you just have to take those cues and move forward completely. Again, I there's no ill will from me, but I just don't talk to him. And ironically, I also don't hear from him. So you may want to call that like a battle of stubbornness or whatever, but that's not really what it is. Like, what it really is to me is, latching on to the people that do share your level of love and empathy and, affection. And my in-laws are just great. I've got more memories with them in 10 years than I have my whole life with any other family member. So back on point a little bit, I just think it's kind of a waste of time to give so much of yourself. And last episode, I talk about giving in a different manner and not being selfish. In this scenario, it's my opinion that you should be selfish, and you should, think more of your life and more of yourself than, giving all your time and energy to a family that doesn't give it back. That's where I'm going with this. And honestly, I have my moments. Like a couple of years ago on Christmas, like I had a moment when I was showering where I just kind of broke down a little bit. And that's more so because, I don't have those Christmas memories, and I don't have that Christmas excitement that my wife has to see her family. And it does make me jealous. Like, definitely 100%. Like, it fades and it eases. But just because I have one or two moments a year where I long for that connection with parents, I would rather have that one or two moment per year thing going on than trying to make it work knowing it doesn't work. Because it just doesn't. I tried repeatedly throughout my life to make things work, and it did not. So it's probably been 5 years by now. I want to say 5 years since I just kind of dropped it and gave up. And there's backlash that comes with that. I mean, obviously my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family, definitely the black sheep, definitely the asshole that won't visit his mother, or the asshole that abandoned his father or whatever, But that doesn't matter to me, because those people that think that way, I dropped them long before I dropped my parents. Because the rest of my family, like I saw my mother's family fight over my grandpa's money when he died. Done, instantly done. Done with them that quickly. It was like, no, my grandpa was actually a pretty solid dude. Love, affection. He was, he had those qualities. And to watch them kind of fight over his money when he passed, I was like, these are not the people I want to be around, And I didn't really put myself around them all that much. But I did go to like family reunions and all that stuff. But God, you gotta learn, and you gotta figure it out that you cannot be a martyr for a family if that family is not bringing any value to your life. And that is and does sound selfish. But if you're not getting anything out of life in general because of certain things, like, you have to figure out how to cut those things out and not be guilted or brought back into it from guilt. Like, there's not a single fucking person that can guilt me into coming back around either side of my family, because it just wasn't working for me. And then when I seen, what did work for me, which was, honest to God, my in-laws. Most people talk shit about their in-laws. Mine are great. That was, it's like once you find something that good, you realize how bad something else was. Again, not that it was, physically or verbally bad, just lacking, so much lacking. And I just could not do it. But just maybe give those some thoughts. Like, if your family's like kind of sucking the life out of you, and you have that opinion that, like, well, they're family, it's fine, they're family. Like, I got to get a little harsh and say, fuck that. Like, fuck that. It doesn't matter. Like, if you are if your life is being detrimented at all by any family member and there's no long-term gain out of that, like if it's always detrimental and there's really no enjoyment, no love, no, don't get me wrong, relationships are hard. Like if my dad made an effort and stayed around Ohio, but our personalities clashed a little bit, different story. Effort means a lot. Effort definitely means a lot. And just showing someone you care means a lot. Everybody's flawed. Everybody fucks up. But I have friendships that have, I've been pissed at people before and then come back around. Like, some relationships are worth working at, but pinpointing whether your family relationships are worth working for or not is important. And I really think that, if family members in your life have been a problem for a long time and have brought you very little to no joy, it's okay to move on, man. So it's okay to be the asshole and be the one that cuts the string and walks away. And in fact, my life has incrementally gotten better. Like this last 5 years is happier and better than I'm happier and better than any 5 years in my life. And that's 5 years with literally no parents besides my in-laws or my parents, but it has not been better. And yeah, at moments like, I get that little slash of guilt. Like, is it me? You're always going to question yourself. But again, if it's one or two instances a year or every couple of years that you're questioning things, like, and the rest of them, you're just going through your life living happy, not even thinking about any of them, I think you got your answer right there. I know I have. Let's see. And that kind of spreads over to friendships and acquaintances. Like I really think it's okay. I think everybody should be able to handle some blunt honesty. And I think if you're around someone a lot and not by choice, but like say it's work and you don't necessarily want to be friends with somebody, like I really think it's okay to have that conversation. Like, hey man, like it's cool that we work together. It's cool we get along, but let's take a step back, more of a work thing. People don't like to hear the words, I'm not looking for new friends, but I'm not, the ones on YouTube, like the creator connections I follow, I won't say I'm not looking for new people to like get along with and this and that, but there's gotta be something that connects us, like my buddy Bronson at Audio Hotline, Mike Newman at Level Up with Mike Newman, Clay, the guys that would watch this and comment and support me, it's, I have something in common with them. We all do something similar that brings us together a little bit. And at this stage of my life, if I'm around people that I know I have nothing in common with, I know there's no common thread. You can't be friends with everybody just to be friends. Like acquaintances is fine. I have always said friend is a strong word. And a friend needs to be somebody who literally would give something up for you and vice versa, in my opinion. Sorry, I had an itch. But I think it's okay sometimes to be that person that has to say the hard shit. Like, yeah, no, I'll probably never come hang out after work. I'm just not that person. You got to be real with yourself. I don't have time. My family's the most important. I already don't have enough time for them. So how could I make time for other people? If I don't have time for, I'm longing to be with my family more. So why in the hell would I go out with people from work? Just no. Definitely not. Just thoughts. I'm going to switch over a little bit from all that. Just want to get the deep stuff out of the way. Now I want to get the YouTube shit out of the way, okay? There's another misconception, and I think it's that me doing this right here, me talking to a camera with a microphone, there's a misconception that I'm trying to get somewhere or become something. People on my Obscure Mics channel, which, shameless plug, Obscure Mics, Obscure Tech, Obscure Thoughts, and Bark, 4 channels, all me two of which are kind of the same, and I can't figure out exactly what I'm doing. But Obscure Mics, Obscure Tech, those are pretty much planned out, good to go. But on those two channels in particular, you get the occasional comment. And I don't let the comment trolls get me too bad. But, one guy was like, it would be more professional if you did this. Why, if this is a test or review, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? You're not getting anywhere. You're not going to grow. Like, who says I'm trying to grow? Who says I'm trying to get anywhere? Like, what about the fact that this is what I love to do? I love to record audio. I love to make videos. I love to, just be myself on camera. I love to talk about things I love to talk about. Not everything's about money, man. Like, of course I would love to, make more money doing this. I do make some, and I'm pretty happy with it. But that's not what it's all about. If I wanted to be professional and be this or that or the perfect reviewer, like, I would watch all the huge ones, take notes, mimic or copy them. But what? That's not fun. Like, I want my shit to be my shit. I don't need to be Mr. Who's the Boss, even though I like that guy, really like his videos. I don't need to be, MKBHD. Same, like him. I appreciate the professional guys, and you mess up, you scat. I appreciate anyone who's doing this, really. But that doesn't mean that I'm striving really hard to be them. We're striving really hard to do exactly what they're doing, because I'm most certainly not. I do a YouTube channel about microphones, not just microphones, but microphones that are discontinued or that people haven't heard about. Is that really like a Forbes $1 million business plan? I don't think it is. I think they call that niche. And if I'm doing something niche and I'm doing it my way, I think you can forget the fact that, or you can forget the notion, not the fact, that I'm trying to blow up on YouTube. I'm fucking not. I don't even know if I'd want to. I definitely wouldn't want to be famous. Like, if I ever got... I do work with a talent agency on some videos, but if I ever got offered like a bigger thing, something, movie like, something big that would garner me some attention. I got a cousin named Garner, by the way. I would probably do enough to get enough money to quit working, and then I would disappear from the public eye. That's another many times repeated statement I've made. I would definitely, I want to live a private life. And yeah, I know. Why are you on YouTube? Because it's the hobby I found and like. I've never once thought, I want my face everywhere. In my hometown, my face is everywhere on some rental trucks, because I used to work at a rental company and I did a photo shoot. Next thing you know, they plastered me all over trucks. I hate that. But I can handle the fact that people all over this country, not many people, especially this channel you're watching, I can handle the fact that people I don't know and only have the ability to like talk to me in text form. That's the brilliant thing about text. I can ignore that shit. I don't. I respond to just about everybody. But if I want to go days without fucking with it, I can. And that's awesome. I can go out in public. No one has ever recognized me from Obscure Mics. Probably never will. And that's great. The only other thing I need to do now is make enough money on it to quit a 9-to-5, because I hate working a 9-to-5. I would love to do what I love to do for a living, but with a cap on it. Definitely with a cap on it. So yeah, when people say like, you're not going to get anywhere doing this, or yeah, you're not professional, you left this out. Like, I do everything on the fly for a reason. I don't have a strong desire to blow up. I don't have a strong desire to be rich. I don't have a strong desire to be famous. I just want to live a very peaceful life doing what I like to do. It just so happens that what I like to do is associated with people that have gone viral and blown up and become stars, and Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Peter Paul, Paul Stanley, Celtics in 5. People have made a living on YouTube and done great things. I just want to do things for my circle of audio people and people who like any of my other channels, whether it's tech or mics or whatever. But as they say, don't get it fucked up. I don't care if you find me to be professional or star worthy or any of that shit. I'm on YouTube just like millions of other fucking people that are just doing what they enjoy doing. And most of those people kind of bail on it. This is the longest I've ever stuck with something. So I'm going to stick with it for as long as humanly possible until it becomes not what I enjoy doing. When that happens, I'll cut it right the fuck out. Just like my family. Ugh. Yeah, I know. That was harsh. But seriously, family is what you make it. Like if you've got friends that you've adopted as your family and left others behind, if those friends are what's best for you in your life and they're what make you feel the best, and roll with it. Limp Bizkit, keep rolling. Rolling. And then make sure you get nookie in the meantime, because that was what the last episode was out. So keep on rolling, get nookie, make yourself happy. By all means, I'm not saying to make yourself happy and only yourself happy. It's good to give back. I try to be pleasant to everybody I meet. If I see somebody that I think I could help, I try to help them. There was an instance where I saw, a kid on at a truck stop, clearly homeless, and I offered him food, offered to take him places, and, it all worked out. I didn't get killed, nothing like that. And I feel like I helped somebody, and that is, I would rather help a stranger and help them and not necessarily just have to get to know them, but it's like, help them. Do something that gives them a little bit of hope, and then everybody move on. I definitely am not saying not to do that, because it's very important to be selfless in a lot of ways, but don't get trampled on being selfless. Don't get taken, and don't be afraid to get taken. Like the kid at the truck stop, like I was worried what the outcome would be, but I couldn't live with myself knowing that I didn't try to help him if he needed help. And it turns out he did. And it turns out he's a nice kid that I talked to for 6 months, and he'd hit me up when he needed transported from one place to another, and he got on his feet and things got better. Not necessarily because of me, but I might have played a small part in it. And to me, that's cool. And that's a greater memory than anything I did with my parents. Again, telling, I'm not bitching, I swear. Like, pretty fucking happy person. But I also want everybody else to be happy. I'm watching some of my family members just go down with the ship because they won't let go because it's family. This isn't a Fast and fucking Furious, man. Let go. I'm not going to jail for Dom. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance. All right. That's all I got for In the Park with Bark episode 2. For those wondering, the audio people that frequent my channels and so on and so forth, I'm using a SREA2U, little tiny USB sound card that plugs in the bottom of the phone just to give me that 3.5 millimeter headphone connection. And I'm using a Comica HRM. So what is it? HRMS. It's a permanently corded ENG. What's that stand for? Intelligent, or not intelligent, ENG, electronic news gathering. That's what it fucking stands for. Yeah, it's just like an interview mic, basically. Plugged into the USB port, or the little ceremonic device that's plugged into the USB port. Just gives me it's basically a headphone adapter for when your phone don't have a headphone. And this microphone, I think, sounds pretty good. Probably even really good out here. Maybe some wind got in it, I don't know. But yeah, I'm in the park. And I'm Bark. And that's the whole fucking premise. And I'm done. I think I'm looking at the clock thinking like, oh, I'm at 29 minutes. Why wouldn't I just go one more? That's what she said. Well, just one more minute, baby. Give me one more. Give me 48 more seconds, 47 more seconds. So should I sing to make those seconds up? Do you believe in love and love? I can feel strong inside me saying. I don't know the lyrics. I'm just giving it a shot. That burned up sometime. I'm determined to hit 30 minutes if you haven't noticed. Nobody whacking in the woods today. Nobody jerking on their thing out here. That's not happening. 19 seconds to go. You should have left by now if you're still here. I'm fucking shocked. I'm the scat man. No, I'm shocked, not the scat man. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We made it.